right, so that's from Kelly to Ben. Yes, okay, our next speaker, let me go to share screen again. Okay, our next speaker is, I'm sorry, I didn't share much about your thoughts, Ben, but I did that on the chat. Our next speaker is Miss Lesli Berggren, and Leslie is founder of Love News, right? I'm not going to read all that, but Leslie founded Love News, and she's going to tell you why, and also she's going to tell you about the work that she has done. Yes, okay, and so over to you. Right, give me a while. I got to stop sharing. Yes, over to you, Leslie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for including me on this incredible panel with these amazing people. And thank you, Catherine, for all the work that you do for getting all these people collectively together, and I'm giving back, as you guys are all doing, to so many, to help so many people. I'm honored to be on this, this journey with you. My journey is a little bit different. It's an experience from a family perspective of cancer, being a caretaker to my child. My son Nils was diagnosed at the age of 12 with stage 4 lymphoma cancer, and it was a very rare stage 4 lymphoma in Singapore. 1 to 2 have they seen in the region per year. No precursors to it. He just one day came down with a bad cold, and it didn't get any better. He was admitted into NUH pediatric oncology department, where he had a lot of surgeries, five surgeries to define what his type of cancer was. But it led to a journey of me understanding more about how cancer is family centric. And many of you guys have gone through cancer and your treatment with your family or your friends or yourself. And it's not, the patient has the worst, but it also affects the entire family, and it affects isolation and guilt and loneliness for the patient and the family, and it affects them economically and socially and emotionally. And when my son was diagnosed, we were in the hospital for about a year, and I had to go and find the psychosocial support for my daughter, his twin sister, for myself, for my son, that was outside of the medical realm. The medical realm here in Singapore is probably, I think, the best in APAC, and sometimes I feel it is the best in the world for treating childhood cancer. But I also feel that there needs to be a little bit more to support the emotional side of cancer, to help them heal. I went out in Singapore to look for those modalities, mindfulness and yoga, different types of food and nutrition. We looked for art therapy, tutors to help him because he could no longer go to school. His immune system was very suppressed. He was mostly in isolation in the hospital room with me, or he was at home with me, and friends couldn't come over. So trying to find some new normalcy for a child with cancer is difficult. I mean, many of you all have been in this lockdown phase during the circuit breaker, when the normal was washing your hands, no one could come over, and wearing a mask and washing your clothes after you've gone to the grocery and wiping everything down. But as you know, that's the normal for all cancer patients. So we were transferred, and by the way, he beat stage 4 cancer from the wonderful doctors and the clinical trials and the amazing medical staff that they had. But he developed graft versus host disease, which sometimes arises when you do a stem cell transplant. And so he was transferred to Seattle, Washington for more treatment at Fred Hutch Cancer Research Center under Seattle Children's Hospital. And being in that environment in the United States, all of those psychosocial modalities were built into the institution. There was free housing. He had a tutor when he needed one. There was art therapy anytime available. There was music therapy. There were tickets to events if he could go. There were befrienders that would come and give him some time off from his mom and allow me to go take a nap, because children with cancer are not provided babysitters. Let's just say that. So it takes a lot of energy from a caretaker 24/7. So unfortunately, he passed away a year and a half, well, 6 months after he was in Seattle. And I came back to Singapore to come home and to take care of his twin sister. And I took a long time going through a lot of therapies and putting down my thoughts of what we had just gone through in a book. And when I finished the book, I realized I had gained a lot of experience in Eastern and Western hospitals and the medical systems that support families with cancer. And I knew I had a really big responsibility and I could do something about it. So I did. And it started off as a one-man show. And now I'm proud to say that we have a little charity that's 3 years old. And I'll give you a tour of what we do if I can figure out how to share my screen. And bear with me for 1 second. So share screen, and is it sharing? And let's see. Oops, I think I need to go in here. Give me a second. Oops, this is going crazy. Sorry, 1 second. Back. Is it working, Catherine?
Yep, I can see it.
Is it the full screen or partial screen?
Full screen.
Okay, hi.
Yep.
So this is the charity that we started and to provide support for children with cancer. And our mission is not only to help the children with cancer, but also their caregivers. And I did this because I thought I kind of had some understanding from a patient perspective, a parent perspective as a caregiver for a parent to their children. And we also try and help them with their community and just try and help them to enable them to thrive. Here's our story. There's my son Nils, after he was diagnosed. He used to sign off all of his letters and thank you for supporting me in my battle against cancer with Love Nils. So we kind of created the campaign of he's thanking everyone to continue to support people in memory of him. And what we try to do most importantly with Love Nils is create awareness globally of what that cancer family-centric visual journey looks like. And we do that by trying to tell this story from a child's perspective and from a parent's perspective, and the overlapping common feelings and emotions that come out of that family. And many of you guys have experienced it, you know, why me? And I'm in confinement and I'm really scared. And the child can't go to school and he loses connections with his friends. His body is weakened because of the cancer treatment. Sometimes they lose hope and their skill, their start to deteriorate. And in this case of my son, you know, he got to the point where he no longer wanted to live. And then as a parent or the caretaker, you're overwhelmed financially, you're stressed, you're not able to go to work, and there's a lot of guilt. So we kind of figured out some ways to give back and to help these kids. And what we do is we work on 3 pillars that provide support with different programs. We provide therapies with different therapeutical outlets, and we try and provide awareness. And I'll go through these kind of individually. So our first fundraiser that we did 3 years ago, we raised funds for a care coordinator, which was a direct request from the hospital. And this person basically manages the non-medical side. It might help with airline tickets or your insurance or helping you get access to these programs. And Sister Laura is still there, and she is full-time at NUH, and she's also an essential service. So she was able to stay in the hospital and is still there during COVID. So we're really honored. We would do annual toy donations and create a big marketplace. That was not available to us during COVID, so we picked up the toys and we delivered them to the hospitals twice monthly, and they were still allowed to have the kids' toys. We have VIP visitors, and Captain America is zooming his way to NUH on October 5th into the homes and the rooms in the hospital for children with cancer to encourage them to be resilient. And we have a lot of fun activities happening. The other thing we do ongoing is we have open art sessions at both hospitals. And I think as many of us, sometimes words are unable to come out of our mouth with the amount of pain and struggle we may be going through during cancer, and especially with a cancer family and a cancer child, they might not be able to verbalize that. Unfortunately, COVID also canceled that, but we packaged it up and put materials for the entire family to enjoy for up to a couple of months, and we hand deliver them to these families at home at their front door. So that's been great. One of the things that we had ongoing was a calendar of hope, where we would give tickets to the family, the entire family, and with children with cancer, a day off cancer, so they could go to see things like Wild Rice's productions locally. They could go see The Lion King, tickets to movies. And it really gave them a time to be together and enjoy each other without thinking about cancer. We have a pen pal program that we work with 5 local and international schools, and these students hand delivered letters of love to doctors, nurses, patients, and parents. During COVID, we had to just pack them up and drop them off at the hospital, kind of like a regular letter. As I mentioned, I do a lot of talking for awareness, and we try and work with the youth in Singapore. I feel like those are the next philanthropers for our lives and for their lives. So they are actively and unwavering in their enthusiasm to raise awareness and provide fundraising and provide some projects like the T-shirt Masterpiece Project, which is the kids are given artwork and art materials of what they want to be when they grow up. And as later you can see behind me, I have a life-size poster. They also receive a T-shirt for their family, so they get to show off their art. We also do fundraising and different types of capacity, because all these programs need to have funds so that we, as the Love Nils organization, can provide that for free for these families. And all of our funds stay in Singapore. All of our programs are supportive of families and their children with cancer, only in Singapore. So a quick rundown: we support 2 hospitals that take care of children with cancer in their pediatric oncology departments. We run programs at 5 schools. Our care coordinator supports 230 families for a month. We pen pal to a lot. We provide art. We give tickets. We bring a lot of kids' toys, and I see a lot of smiles. The ways that people donate, I mean, as small as $25 can buy a child a new toy. And these are kind of the goals that we've been trying to create to raise awareness. And we've also implemented a new program that's been a direct request from the hospital, is education support. As many of your children may have not been able to attend school during COVID, these kids really could not attend school, and some of them still can't. So we're creating a one-to-one tutor online program with a licensed company that can provide them that emotional security, understand their situation, and kind of be a mentor, but also guide them through that tutoring program as they need some friends to do so. And I would love to work with anyone who would be interested in working with us. And I sincerely thank you for your time and listening and talking to me. I tried to keep it on time, Catherine. I hope I did justice.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Yes, if you could actually put your number on the chat, Leslie, so
Okay,
anybody who
sure.
wants to contact you can do so. Thanks so much. Yes.